We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast. I am your host on this magical mystery tour we call Ole Miss Fandom, Stephen Willis, and I'm glad you are joining us today. Big news, as you can see, Travel and Cruise World has come on board. The phone number and all that is being posted on our social media. It's on the front page of this. It'll be on the ad screen in the middle. We're working on getting a advantageous package put together for you guys. Basically, this is what I'm trying to do because while some people might just want advertising, whatever, to make money, I want advertising that can help you guys out as well. And since everybody visits pretty much Central Florida, Tampa, Orlando, and all that area, I'm trying to put together a triumvirate of value-adding prospects for you guys here. And we're starting with Travel and Cruise World, and you can put together your package with them. They can tell you what's going on. The advantage that you would have here over a travel agent, say in your hometown, is these guys are on the ground and they're local to Disney. We are 25 minutes away from Disney, where we are. We are 45 minutes away from Tampa. We are 60 minutes away from the beach. All these things can handle by having a person on staff here to help you out. That is Travel and Cruise World. I've talked to Scott. I've met with him a few times. Truly good people. And he will help you guys out pretty religiously. Like I said, we're working on a promo code that we can give to show that it's coming from our guys. Although, let's face it, any phone call he gets from Mississippi, he's going to know it's from our guys. But this would allow you to build it together. And remember, you don't pay this travel agent anything. Disney pays the travel agent. So why don't you tap that resource while all this COVID stuff is going on? All these rules are changing from companies. You can find out when you need to go. You can find out what you need to do and all that good stuff. So Travel and Cruise World. The phone number is on the logo on the front of the site and also in the description along with the webpage. So that is that. We also want to talk about, if you want to watch the show, you can catch us on Twitter at The Stephen Willis or at The Rebel Walk. Catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast or facebook.com/The Rebel Walk. You can catch us on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. You can catch us on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss. Remember, on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell. You'll be notified not just that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about and whether or not you want to catch us live or a little bit later on demand. It's really beneficial. No matter which platform you listen to, it's beneficial to do the YouTube subscribe thing just for the notification setup. They have a really good system of that set up. And we're also on Instagram at Rebel Walk. Instagram's doing quite well. We're averaging about 300 views per video. So quite well. Thank you very much. The Matt Corral video from a couple of days ago, we are right on the edge of hitting 3,000 views. And that'll be the first time we've ever hit 3,000 views on a video. And the fact that we're just in the doldrums of this time shows that how much we are growing, and we thank you for that, because this is all on you. Now, we don't pimp the podcast. We don't advertise to the podcast because, the penetration rate and all that is like 1/30th of the actual view count, play count, because it's designed to skip commercials. It's easy to skip over them. So we don't placate that much to, but we do want to offer it for our listeners. We'll call them listeners. And we're on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. We're also on numerous smaller podcatchers, but if we name them all, we'd be here all day. But if you're in the car driving from Jackson to Oxford, which actually, happens quite a bit, understandably, with Ole Miss fans, it'd be nice to be able to throw the podcast on, listen to 3 or 4 videos, and be in good shape. Tonight, the Rebel Walk recruiting show with Leanne Herring is going to air. We're not going to do it live. We're going to post-produce it a little bit. But that should be available tonight, if not first thing in the morning. Tomorrow, we have the POMcast at 10 Central. At 2 o'clock, we have Rebel Rankings, 3 Eastern, 2 Central. And later on that night, we have SEC After Dark. Debut of SEC After the Dark. We're really excited about that. And what we are planning to do is a little package that's not just Ole Miss centric. And like I said, we want to keep everything free to you guys. We want free content for all the listeners, all the viewers. Thank you very much for that. So we need to be efficient with our advertising. And we need to offer certain types of advertising. And the first step of that is the travel and cruise world. Thank you very much, Scott, for that. And we're going to go on and try and find a little cluster in Central Florida. But since the shows are going to be like the Best in the West show, the Beast of the East show, SEC After Dark is not Ole Miss centric and more conference centric or division centric. We can sell ads that have more variety. It makes people a little bit less pressured to go to this platform. Locally, you have super fans. At the end, at the very, very top end of the spectrum, you don't want to offend anybody. And these SEC-centric cluster shows will cater to that. So we're looking forward to that. It starts off Friday night with SEC After Dark. We have music picked out for it. I know I should wait for the surprise, but we have music picked out that sounds a lot like Silk Stockings. So, we went 80s, early 90s pretty hard on SEC After Dark. So that's tomorrow night. Tonight, Rebel Recruiting Show with Leanne Herring. We're going to talk 2023s. I'm looking forward to hear about that. There's like a 5-star running back we're going to talk about that is in the cards. So that's going to be exciting. Now, moving on to the show. This is list season. We still have about 6 or 7 shows until SEC Media Days. So it's going to get a little bit tight. Some people aren't even doing content because this type of stuff doesn't interest them, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You have the right to do that. But this seems like a perfect opportunity to talk about the special teams at Ole Miss. And I understand with as much as we go for it on fourth down and things like that, special teams it seems like it has even a lesser meaning than a normal coach with the staff. And I understand that. But with special teams, hidden yardage is still there. And hidden yardage will basically, if you get a 20-yard punt return, that punt return is hidden yardage from the end of the yard run. So you're looking at, he punts from the 20, it goes to the 20, you get the ball at the 40, the 20 to the 40 is basically hidden yardage that you've made up in the transition. So looking at the kicking game specifically, Caden Costa was signed. You can see him over there. And, well, you can't see him over there because this football schedule, but in the preview window, you could see him over there. But we've all seen videos of him crushing huge field goals. Now, what I'm more interested in is that he is automatic from 40 yards and in. That's more of what I'm interested in. The long stuff, I'm a big fan of that. Actually, way back in the day, was a field goal kicker and was all South Mississippi. The guy that was the year before that beat me out was Steve Lindsay. And he had a huge leg, just a monster leg. We did kicking camp circuit together and all of that. And I think there was a guy from St. Stanislaus that ended up going to Tulane that was around that same time. So we were kind of the three. And just a huge leg. But it was just an insanely inaccurate leg. He was a great kickoff man. Make no mistake. But it was a little bit more power than, it's like trying to aim a shotgun. Is basically what it mattered. So Steve Lindsay was basically our kickoff specialist for several years at Ole Miss. But I'm not saying Caden Costa's there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying since I haven't seen him kick shorter field goals, I can't speak to that. I just don't know. I see him kicking longer field goals, 50 plus all the time. Those are the ones that end up on Twitter and such, YouTube. But we'll have to see how he does within 40 and in. Everybody talks about Gary Wunderlich, and Gary Wunderlich was pretty much the standard bearer for kicker for the last 15 years. The one before that would have been Jonathan Nichols. But what made him so good was the fact that he was nearly automatic inside 40. You didn't even have to think about that. You only had to think about the longer field goals, and that also made our team better. Because if you could count on points within a certain point, if you get to the 25-yard line and you can count on 3 points no matter what, you're in good shape. If you have, that's the way that football is set up. That's the way it's constructed. And you were able to do that with Gary Wunderlich. So I don't know if Caden Costa is going to be that level. I'm interested to see him this season. I think he's going to win the job. I think he's going to be the best kicker on the roster. And, that might not be saying a whole bunch, but that's what I think. So we'll get to see relatively early on against Louisville where he stands. I think he has a chance to also be the kickoff man, but I worry, this is going to be a little bit in the weeds, but I do worry about him kicking off the ground and then kicking off the tee. It's two distinctly different motions. I don't know where he is. We'll have to see. I think, in my opinion, kickers do better that concentrate on one motion and just perfect that. Anytime a second motion comes in, it's going to cause a little bit of inconsistency in the first one. That's just my opinion on that. Now, some guys can do it. And Caden Costa might be a kid that can do it. But this is just one of those things moving into the season that I'm worried about. At punter, Mac Brown, he didn't get used a bunch, but he did a pretty good job last year when he did get used. More standard style punting, less rugby punting, but he's a kid that can do a little bit of it all. And he had a really great year. I'm not really worried about the punt team going into it. Now, on punt return, you have to replace Elijah Moore as the setup returner. And what you get with Elijah Moore was you could count on the ball being caught. You could count on the ball being caught. I'll say that again. Not necessarily return yardage. He probably had 2 during the entirety of his career. But you could count on the ball being caught. Now, in the Outback Bowl, Jonathan Mingo went back there and returned some punts. He struggled a little bit. And Dontario Drummond went back there and returned punts and was absolutely fearless. Caught the ball, going to return under any circumstances. And that is an aspect of the punt return game that we have not had, that Ole Miss has not had in several years. And I am interested about that. Now, when you look at kids like Tysheem Johnson and those guys, it would be interesting to see how he returns. He has a chance to make a step as well, because Tysheem is a super athlete. People need to understand that first and foremost. He's a super athlete playing in the defensive backfield. And I've said over and over again that he has honey badger tendencies. Well, in doing that, that includes the return game. So it will be interesting to see what happens once fall camp opens in the return game with these guys. And it'll be interesting to see who goes back there the first punt that Louisville has on Labor Day. So that would be something worth paying attention to. And we're going to take a short break. Don't worry about it. Stick around for a little bit. And we are going to we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing, and we're going to give you a few minutes back. So thank you very much. Stick around, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. To the POMcast. I'm Stephen Willis, and I do want to tell you about the Rebel Walk. Evelyn Van Pelt and her crew do a fantastic job of covering Ole Miss sports. They provide what I like to refer to as a subscriber level experience for no money. All it costs you is your time, and boy, oh boy, is it well worth it. She has experts for each and every sport out there. And I think it's the largest staff covering Ole Miss. So if you're interested in all that, you're interested in different perspectives, you don't want to be out a ton of money, go over to therebelwalk.com, tell them I sent you, and it will be discounted even more than free. No, I'm just kidding about that. But, free. There's can't really be a discount for free. But it was a joke that didn't land. Okay. During the first half of the show, we talked about the special teams and the people that we were looking forward to stepping up. One thing we didn't mention is Jared Ely at kickoff return. I know there's several people that are against starting running backs playing back there in kickoff return. He is an exceptional athlete in space. It is one of those things where a weapon is worth it, as you saw versus LSU last year. And there's plenty of depth in that room to begin with. So it's not a situation where you're absolutely hurting. You saw that when Jerry Ely couldn't play in the Outback Bowl. Henry Parrish and Snoop Connor just stepped up and took the bull by the horns and made the running back room even more dynamic than you would have expected them to be. So I like him returning kickoffs. He's extremely dangerous. As you saw in the LSU game, he got the ball like 6-7 yards deep and came out and took it to the house. So it's essentially like a 108-yard kickoff return. It's one of the longest plays in Ole Miss history. But they don't officially count that because the yardage starts at the goal line. So the longest play in Ole Miss history is a 100-yard return. And over time, that is going to disappear. But I like Jerry and Ely returning kickoffs. There's going to be people complain about it. I was on Ole Miss's staff when Dexter McCluster got injured by Vanderbilt on a kickoff return. Dang near killed him. It was rough. So understand that to hear this. So I'm in favor of that. And by the way, good that Dex was okay. He's just a heck of a guy. So let's transition for a couple of minutes, and I'm gonna give you a hefty number of minutes back today, because there's just not a lot going on, as evidenced by us, talking special teams and stuff like that. But the first ad coming through was Travel and Cruise World. Thank you again. Thank you very much, Scott. And that is going to be built. I'm trying to build a circle of ads in Central Florida for your vacation needs. I asked myself, what can I offer that others can't offer? And that Central Florida vacation scene and things to do is the thing that just popped out of the mind. It's like, whoa, there's going to be a ton of people from Mississippi that come down to Central Florida. Let's find an avenue for them to get have the best experience possible. And if I can help you guys out, that's what I want to do. So we're going to spend the thing trying to get a triumvirate of ads. I'm not going to talk about the other ones because we're not down the road far enough yet. But I am working on that. But we're going to start with Travel and Cruise World. And please give those guys a call. Burn their phones up. You don't pay them like Disney pays them. So it'd be like a free assistant for a vacation. You might want to hit them up. Because especially with the rules changing back and forth and everybody's worried. Everybody's freaking out right now about this Delta variant thing. How will that affect the parks? I personally don't think it will, but if it does, how will that affect the parks? They'll know. They'll have the 411, so you don't have to worry about your vacation based off of stuff you can't control. So, Travel and Cruise World. So we're going to do that, and like I said, I'm partnered up with the Rebel Walk as well, and they're going to be selling for Mississippi specific stuff. They have somebody in the state that can come around. If you're interested in them coming around to your business, let us know. And we have a bunch of stuff, but the main thing I want to do is to advertise in a way that benefits you guys. I don't really care if it benefits me. Some people do it it's all about the money. We always talk about money being so close to content. I want something that benefits you guys and not me. And if that happens, I will be extremely happy. And the goal of this video cast, this webisode, will be met, as in to not just not impact you guys, but literally help you guys. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm going to find people that can fill those needs. And either here in Florida at the Palatial Central Florida Studios, or over in Mississippi with the people you interact with on a regular basis. So that's the idea. That's the goal. It's not about us. It's about you guys, even when we do advertising and things like that. So the people that advertise, they want to get you guys involved anyway. But I figured I could let my master plan be known. I could let what I was doing be known. And I still have several essentially state secrets to keep people from being able to copy this. Because I've worked on this. Heck, it was probably before my brain surgery, honestly, that the idea started getting hatched. Yeah, I think I mentioned it, believe it or not, to Ben Garrett, that I was going to do that and we were going to team up, and then he backed out for whatever reason, and this started growing. And it started with, like, I had my brain surgery in July of 2019. And I was out of commission for like 5 months. I went back to work the end of November, beginning of December. I don't remember the actual date. But all that time sitting in a chair was an excellent avenue for me to go over every possible scenario that I need to do and start working out this plan. Now, once it started, after all that got going, I needed to, get my voice back in a position to do it, because I was on a ventilator for like a day, and after a day, that thing gets scratchy, and that messes with your voice. And I truly feel sorry for anybody that's been on a ventilator for more than a day. Sorry about that, David Johnson. As somebody that did one day and saw the after effects, man, good on you, buddy. But I went through that and started doing a podcast. This was early 2020. This is right about the time that the COVID stuff started happening. And the whole time working towards getting, that was just to get my voice in shape. And over the football season to see what that looked like. And then this January, I invested about $20,000 in equipment to do this. And, boy, oh boy, was it worth it. And in February, we went live, starting like 30 views per video. Now we're in the neighborhood. We're touching 3,000 occasionally for videos. We're doing 4 or 5 videos a month that are hitting 3,000. So thank you for that. But just to let you know, this has been a long thing, and most every avenue has been well thought out, including how we're going to advertise and who we're going to talk to about that. And I think that is really cool, and it's be fun because of all of this that's happened. I'm the only person that has had an office in the Manning Center and has worked in the national media. Now, I am not super well known to you guys because I haven't been an attention hound. I've been okay to play in the background. But for this requires me to step forward. But yeah, I did a decade at Rivals, 5 years in local news. Heck, I even did the AFN Good Morning Vietnam thing back in the early 2000s. So it's a lot of fun. But anyway, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes back. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Tomorrow we will do another. Tonight is the Rebel Walk recruiting show with Leanne Herring. We're going to talk about 2023 kids, and tomorrow Rebel Rankings comes out at 2 o'clock Central, and SEC After Dark tomorrow night. Actually, I haven't heard from Corey in a while, so maybe Corey needs to send me a text message. If you're listening to this, Corey, which you normally do, you can shoot me a text message and let me know what is going on. All right, so until tomorrow, hotty toddy.